Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudire Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavate Ruttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki Om Agnanati Mirandasya Gnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Vayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavanscha Srirupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Saptakanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyevacha पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा. Okay, so we are going to continue from verse 22, chapter 7. Let me share the screen. Okay. I was wondering, would anybody want to read the Sanskrit? I've only been reading all along. If anybody wants to give it a try.
Should I try it, Prabhuji?
Yeah, please.
The shlokas, no?
Yeah.
Arjuna Vacha Krishna Krishna Mahabhago Bhaktanam Abhyankara Swami Dhyana Dhyanmanam Apavargasi Samskrita.
Samsrite. Okay, which one do you read? Do you read the English or do you read the Devanagari?
I read English only, Prabhuji.
This one only.
Yes, yes.
Okay, this might be easier, no? Because you are native Hindi speaking.
Yes, Hanji, this is Hindi. Hindi also. This,
Yeah,
but
this might be
I
easy.
left Hindi in fifth class. Like here in,
Okay.
like, I am from Amritsar, so we do Hindi only till fifth standard.
Okay.
I find
Okay.
Hindi hard.
Okay, no problem. Okay. Krishna Krishna Mahabaho Bhaktanam Abhayankara Tvam Eko Dahyyamananam Apavargosi Samsrate. Arjuna said, "Oh, my Lord Sri Krishna." Actually, I don't know why. Normally, when this Krishna is there, Prabhupada translates it as "Oh Krishna, oh Krishna." So this Krishna is with, that here anxiety. Otherwise, with love, generally, we take somebody's name twice. So you're the Almighty Person. You've got it. There is no limit to your different energies. Therefore, only you are competent to instill fearlessness in the hearts of your devotees. Everyone in the flames of material miseries can find the path of liberation in you only. So you are competent to instill fearlessness in the hearts of your devotees. So we should understand this. When will that fearlessness appear in us is when we have completely surrendered to Krishna. And we know that there is nothing apart from Krishna in this material world. Then automatically there will be fearlessness. Right? But for that, Krishna has to instill fearlessness. So Krishna will instill fearlessness when we completely depend on him, when we completely surrender to him. And then he understands our mood, our dependence on him, then he will instill fearlessness. And this is an important stage actually in bhakti, that we go past material fear depending on Krishna. And when we go past this material fear, then we start, like raga, bhaya, krodha, right? So these are the biggest impediments for us. Raga is attachment, bhaya, krodha. So one by one we have to overcome this, and then only we can come to Brahmabhuta stage, then pure devotion, then Krishna prema, etc., etc. And this fearlessness Krishna instills in the hearts of devotees. And everybody in the flames of material miseries can find the path of liberation in you only. Whether somebody is doing karma, that is also karma yoga. That means again dependence on Krishna. Gnana, gnana yoga. Dhyana, dhyana yoga. So wherever there is yoga, there is Krishna. So if somebody has to get out of these material miseries, they can find the path of liberation in Krishna only. No other way. So here, Prabhupada writing in the purport, a person burning in the flames of material existence may receive the rains of mercy. This is very nice. Rains of mercy of the Lord, not drops, rains, through the transparent medium of the Guru. So this is also very important to understand. Actually, His Holiness Bhakti Vikas Maharaj, so he's given a class, he's been giving classes, a series on Guru issues in ISKCON. And in one of the lectures, he was saying, how does the Guru actually connect with the disciple? The Guru connects with the disciple through Paramatma, right? So actually, he's a transparent medium, because Guru is transparently connecting the disciple to the parampara. So the mercy will flow because the Guru is transparent medium. And sometimes Guru knows, sometimes Guru might not know. Like that depends on whether Krishna wants Guru to know a certain thing or not. But the mercy will flow through the Guru. The Guru by his words can penetrate into the heart of the suffering person. See, this is very, very important. So as Shiksha Guru, Srila Prabhupada's words can penetrate into the heart of the suffering person. And that is the whole idea why I keep emphasizing the fact, saying that please read Prabhupada's purports again and again. So he can penetrate into the heart of the suffering person. One line in Srila Prabhupada's purport can change a person's life completely. Right? So by the Guru can by his words can penetrate into the heart of the suffering person and inject transcendental knowledge. Inject. So when you say inject, what happens? It comes by force. Like with force, it comes. So when the injection is given, there is force. Nothing can prevent it. And when that knowledge, transcendental knowledge is injected, that alone can extinguish the fire of material existence. So one has to come to this platform of jnana in bhakti. Jnana in bhakti. That means jnana about Krishna. So Krishna's supreme position, our dependent position, and then acting accordingly. And all that will happen only by the words of the Guru. So everybody has to surrender to Guru. And of course, now, Srila Prabhupada has written his purports, but so many aspects about Srila Prabhupada's purports we can't understand. Who can explain that to us? Is our Diksha Guru, who also is our Shiksha Guru. Right? So we have to surrender to a Guru. Every devotee who is serious in Krishna consciousness has to come to the platform of accepting a Diksha Guru, or I should say the Diksha Guru accepting the disciple, and thereby we make progress. Okay, so Arjuna here is actually glorifying Krishna, and subsequently in one of the purports, possibly 3-4 verses later, Prabhupada actually writes saying that this is the right etiquette that Arjuna is following, that he's actually glorifying Krishna before asking him for help. Finally, Arjuna asks Krishna for help, but before any superior like this, we shouldn't directly go and start asking them for their help or whatever, right? So first of all, we should recognize the Vaishnava, that the person is a Vaishnava, and then glorify the person, his position, and then whatever we've gone for, whatever work we've gone for, we can present that in front of them. So this is etiquette. This is etiquette to glorify. Okay, anybody else wants to read?
Yeah, Prabhu.
Yeah.
So the shlok is 1723.
Yeah.
And it's like To Madhva Purusha Sakshi Dishvara Prakriti Paraha Mayam Vyudosha Chit Chaktya Ko Kaivalya Sthit Atmani.
Yeah. Tvam adya purusha sakshad ishvara prakrite paraha mayam vyudasya chitchaktya kaivalye stita atmani. You are the original personality of Godhead who expands himself all over the creations and is transcendental to material energy. You cast away the effects of material energy by dint of your spiritual potency. You are always situated in eternal bliss and transcendental knowledge. So just glorifying Krishna's supreme position as the supreme Lord. So Krishna is, so there's, I mean, this we've already discussed all these topics multiple times, so there's nothing much I want to say here. Okay. Anybody else? स एव जीवलोकस्य माया मोहितचेतसः विदत्से स्वेन वीर्येण श्रेयो धर्मादिलक्षणम्. And yet, though you are beyond the purview of the material energy, you execute the four principles of liberation, characterized by religion and so on, for the ultimate good of the conditioned soul. So Krishna says this in Bhagavad Gita also, that he is establishing duty, because otherwise people will follow him. If he sits without doing anything, then people will follow him. Mahajanayana gatasya panta. So he is establishing dharma, artha, kama, moksha, the path characterized by religion, for the ultimate good of conditioned souls. Because conditioned souls actually have to, if they follow dharma, artha, kama, then finally they'll come to moksha, and then they'll come to bhakti. So this is for the ultimate good of the conditioned souls. And so Arjuna is glorifying Krishna, saying, though you are beyond this material energy, you're still acting like like you're showing what the conditioned souls should be doing within this material world, and thereby setting up their ultimate good. तथायं चावतारस्ते भुवो भारजिहीर्षया स्वानां चानन्यभावानाम् अनुध्यानाय चासकृत्. Thus you descend as an incarnation to remove the burden of the world and to benefit your friends, especially those who are your exclusive devotees and are constantly wrapped in meditation upon you. Remove the burden of the world, paritranaya sadhuna vinashaya cha dushkrutam. So benefit your friends. Friends. Exclusive devotees are always friends of Krishna. They're always friends. And who are exclusive devotees and constantly wrapped in meditation. So just imagine this, right? So such a beautiful state to be in, constantly wrapped in attention, meditation about Krishna. Nothing of this material world distracting us. I think I've mentioned this before. So as we make progress in bhakti, so there is anartha nivruti, then there is nishta, then there is ruchi, and then asakti. In nishta and ruchi, normally a person, he has to think about Krishna, for example, when we are chanting, but naturally mind goes towards material things. That is nishta ruchi. But in asakti, what happens? The reverse happens. Person is thinking about material things, suddenly his mind switches off to spiritual. His mind switches to think about Krishna. And that means he just realizes, it's a waste. No point wasting time. Constantly they are wrapped in attention, wrapped in meditation upon Krishna. We should all desire to reach that stage. So Prabhupada is saying it appears that the Lord is partial to his devotees. Everyone is related with the Lord. He is equal to everyone, and yet he is more inclined. Yet he is more inclined. So today we were reading Chaitanya Bhagavata, in which actually I think Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is only saying that Krishna is equal to everyone, but he is more inclined towards his devotees, like what happened with Duryodhana's family. Duryodhana's family actually did not do anything as such to deserve being killed and the whole family be destroyed. But their main problem was they did something against devotees, against the Pandavas. Because as per administrative and all that, Duryodhana was doing a good job. There's nothing wrong. But because they had offended Krishna's dear devotees, Krishna took it up very seriously. Right? Saying that, okay, these guys don't deserve to remain alive itself. So he's more inclined to his own men and devotees. And it's so nice to be on this side, right? Where Krishna becomes inclined to us and gives us mercy so that, we can reach the pure state of existence. Yeah, Krishna is Bhakta Vatsala, so we should always remember this. And that is actually motivational. It motivates us to do bhakti, at least for me. When I heard this saying that Krishna is so dear to his devotees, I was like, wow, I mean, if at all I can be on the receiving end, Krishna being dear to me, it's such a glorious position to be in. And how does that happen? By we doing service in such a way that we become dear to him. Then he will become dear to us, towards us. Kimmidam switkuto veti deva deva na vedmyaham sarvato mukhamayati teja paramadarunam. O Lord of Lords, how is it that this dangerous effulgence is spreading all around? Where does it come from? I do not understand it. So this is what it is. Arjuna, anything that is presented before the personality of Godhead should be so done after due presentation of respectful prayers. That is a standard procedure. And Sri Arjuna, although an intimate friend of the Lord, is observing this method for general information. So he's asking a question. How is that this dangerous effulgence is spreading all around? Before that, even though it was such an urgent question, he glorified the Lord in 3-4 verses. And then he's saying, okay, where is this coming from? I do not understand it. Shri Bhagavanuvacha Vetedam Dronaputrasya Brahmam Astram Pradarshitam Naivasau Veda Samharam Pranabadha Upastite. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, know from me that this is the act of the son of Drona. He has thrown the hymns of nuclear energy, Brahmastra, and he does not know how to retract the glare. He has helplessly done this, being afraid of imminent death. Okay, some readings from the purport. The Brahmastra is similar to the modern nuclear weapon manipulated by atomic energy. The atomic energy works only on total combustibility. And so the Brahmastra also acts. Prabhupada is writing a very scientific purport. How does it work? It creates an intolerable heat similar to atomic radiation. But the difference is that the atomic bomb is a gross type of nuclear weapon, whereas the Brahmastra is a subtle type of weapon produced by chanting hymns. So this is the first part. It is produced by chanting hymns. Second, it's a different science. And in the days gone by, such science was cultivated in the land of Bharatavarsha. The subtle science of chanting hymns is also material, but it has yet to be known by the modern material scientists. Subtle material science is not spiritual, but it has a direct relationship with the spiritual method, which is still subtler. So saying subtle has connection with spiritual because it is closer, because spiritual is still subtler. So subtle comes slightly closer to still subtler than the gross. A chanter of hymns knew how to apply the weapon as well as to retract it. That was perfect knowledge. Also, Brahmastra it can be directed towards a enemy. It's not like this blind mass destruction atomic bomb. It's a very, very, subtle science, complicated science. Complicated in the sense what it can accomplish. Very targeted. You can throw a Brahmastra, you can retract a Brahmastra. All that is not possible with the gross atomic form. Now in this verse, one other thing of importance, saying he's helplessly done this being afraid of imminent death. So this is one of the qualities of a Brahmana, right? That he's not afraid of death. But this only we can understand saying that Ashwatthama was a Brahma Bandhu only, because he was afraid of death. So let's ask this question, and I'll request all of you to participate because this is important. How many of us are afraid of death, and why? Or how many of us are not afraid of death, and why? Either way. Kindly participate.
Yes, Prabhuji. We scared, Prabhuji, because we are. I think we are still in Maya. So
Maya.
we want more.
Okay.
Yeah, more about material things, or so that may be the reason.
Okay. Okay, others?
हाँ, हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी।
Hare Krishna.
जब से भगवान का नाम लेने लगे हैं ना, तब से मृत्यु से डर नहीं लगता, पर ये डर जरूर है कि क्या हम अंत समय में भगवान का नाम ले पाएंगे या नहीं ले पाएंगे।
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Not afraid of death, Prabhuji, because we've already been going through Bhagavad Gita and we know that this is just a body-mind complex, and the real soul is our real being, which we connect with the Brahman. So ultimately, it is that is the final root. So it's not the death. There's no fear of death, Prabhuji.
Okay. How many have fear of suffering? Not death. Fear of suffering. I'm asking this question because I mean Bhagavatam is supposed to enable us to introspect, right? And here a Brahmana, son of a Brahmana, of a very highly qualified Brahmana, Dronacharya, he had fear of death. And actually he had fear of death. So some people have fear of death. Some people have fear of suffering. Fear of suffering means sometimes there is no death. Like for example, there are people in hospitals in coma, right? And or yeah, somebody has like some issue because of which there has to be like some disability for the rest of their life, etc., right? Because death is okay. Death is like, okay, done deal, over, right? Chapter close. But what about suffering?
Prabhuji, just want to share, like, since maybe past 7 to
Mataji, your
8 years.
voice is very, very soft, or I don't know. I mean, it's not very
Now?
audible. Yeah.
Yeah. Prabhuji, my personal experience from last like 8-9 years, I've been suffering a lot, like from ailments, from some surgery, from some like 3 months I went, like I had COVID, then there was some depression and sleep. Like I have suffered so much. Practically, I've suffered so much with my body, mind, matlab, my health deteriorated, and like it's been 4-5 months continuously I was taking antibiotics, and now Prabhuji, I feel I have no fear of suffering because
Okay.
I suffered from my some surgery with the tooth wisdom. Like I have had all sorts of suffering with my
Okay.
body, many experiments, like
Very good.
lot of surgeries, and I feel it is a test of Krishna to make me tolerate and to make me brave. And I don't fear anything. I don't
Okay.
know. I just feel like I don't know, but this is my feeling.
Yeah.
I don't want to like boast of anything, but I
Nay,
have
nay.
suffered. Naturally, I have
Truthful.
suffered like with the tough people, with
Yeah.
gross materialist. Like so, I think the greatest suffering would be for me would be when I forget Krishna, or when I like am abandoned by devotees, because I don't
Devotees.
get any association, like little bit on online. So that would be my greatest suffering, if like I do something wrong, like which offends some Vaishnava or whatever.
Hmm.
I mean,
Okay. Yeah, actually, this is a very important thing. I would have told that if nobody would have said. Right. So, suffering, many people think actually don't understand what suffering is. And they'll think, it's all temporary. There is suffering which just doesn't end. So, and that suffering is very difficult to deal with initially. And all this actually, when we go through all this, we just become more and more realistic to the fact that I'm not this body. So it just makes us immune to all this. So we should reach this stage. This is a very somewhat a basic stage to reach, right? And we should reach it as early as possible. This whole becoming free from fear of death or suffering or anything of that sort connected to this material world. And like Kuldeep Prabhu was saying, maybe we are not because of Maya. And what is Maya? Maya basically means we forget Krishna. There's nothing like Maya. Maya is just a covering potency of Krishna, which just covers our consciousness that everything is Krishna. And then we start looking at things as disconnected from Krishna. And that's Maya. Right? So nothing is disconnected from Krishna. And nothing happens without the ultimate will of Krishna. So, yes, the only fear we should have is whether we're going to forget Krishna at any point of time, whether we're going to be, dispelled from Sangha, devotee association. Really, those are the reasons to be concerned about, but nothing on the material platform. For example, losing some possession or something, as in anyway, which way we can't do anything about this because it's on the material platform. Second is we should not become fearful about these things, because anyway all of this is temporary. Number one. Number two, anyway it's in the control of Krishna, and anyway everything is anyway Krishna. There's nothing apart from Krishna. So when we start looking at things like that, then there's no question of fear. Okay. Nahi asyanittamam kinchid astram pratyavak karshanam jayastra teja unnadham astragno hyastra tejasa. Arjuna, only another Brahmastra can counteract this weapon. Since you are expert in the military science, subdue this weapon's glare with the power of your weapon, your own weapon. For the atomic bombs, there is no counter weapon to neutralize the effects. But by settled science, the action of a Brahmastra can be counteracted, and those who were expert in the military science in those days could counteract the Brahmastra. Okay, Shruta Vacha. Shrutva Bhagavata Proktam Phalguna Paraviraha Sprishpapastam Parikramya Brahmam Brahmastram Sandade. Sudha Goswami said, hearing this from the personality of Godhead, Arjuna touched water for purification, and after circumambulating Lord Shri Krishna, he cast his Brahmastra weapon to counteract the other one. Samhatyanyonyam ubhayos tejasi sharasambrute avritya rodasi khamcha vavridhaterkavanivat. When the rays of the two Brahmastras combined, a great circle of fire like the disk of the sun covered all outer space and the whole firmament of planets. Dristvastra tejastutayos trilokan pradahan mahat dahyamana praja sarvaha samvartakam mamamsata. All the population of 3 worlds was scorched by the combined heat of the weapons. Everyone was reminded of the Samvartaka fire, which takes place at the time of annihilation. So you might remember 10th canto, when Indra sends clouds, they're also Samvartaka. So Samvartaka are clouds and fire at the time of annihilation, right? So there is super heat first, and then there is super downpour. So one is Samvartaka fire, the other is Samvartaka clouds or rains. Prajopadravam alakshya lokavyatikam chatam matam cha vasudevasya sanghararjona dvayam. Thus seeing the disturbance of the great populace and the imminent destruction of the planets, Arjuna at once retracted both the Brahmastra weapons as Lord Sri Krishna desired. This is so nice, you know. Arjuna became an instrument because Lord Sri Krishna desired it. And so always we should also try to become instruments in the hands of Guru. So we should become intelligent but submissive instruments, right? Or obedient instruments. We should be intelligent, but at the same time we should be obedient. Obedient means whatever Guru says we should be ready to follow, but we should also be intelligent in trying to understand, in trying to figure out how to execute the order, instructions of Guru, and so on. But finally, we should act such that the Lord or his representative desire. So this is very, very important. Okay, is there anything here? No. Okay, I think last two verses and we'll stop. Tata asadya tarasa darunam gautami sutam pabandhamarshratam raksha pashum rasanaya yatha. Arjuna, his eyes blazing in anger like two red balls of copper, dexterously arrested the son of Gautami and bound him with ropes like an animal. So note this, Arjuna's anger is like two red balls of copper, glaringly red. Shibiraya nini shantam rajva badvari pumbalat praharjunam prakupito bhagavan ambujekshanaha. After binding Ashwatthama, Arjuna wanted to take him to the military camp. The personality of Goddess Sri Krishna, looking on with his lotus eyes, spoke to Arjuna in an angry mood. Even though Krishna was in an angry mood, his eyes are compared to lotus. But Arjuna's eyes were copper red. So Prabhupada writes a beautiful purport here. He says both Arjuna and Lord Sri Krishna are described here in an angry mode. But Arjuna's eyes were like balls of red copper, whereas the eyes of Lord were like lotuses. This means that the angry mood of Arjuna and that of the Lord are not on the same level. The Lord is transcendence, and thus he is absolute in any stage. His anger is not like the anger of a conditioned living being within the modes of qualitative material nature. Because he is absolute, both his anger and pleasure are the same. His anger is not exhibited in the three modes of material nature. It is only a sign of his bent of mind towards the cause of his devotee, because that is his transcendental nature. So this is very nice. See, it is only a sign of his bent of mind towards the cause of his devotee. So even if he's showing anger, it is the cause of the devotee. Even if he's showing, even if he's being showing pleasure, that is also bent of mind towards the cause of his devotee. And therefore, even if he's angry, the object of anger is blessed, is unchanged in all circumstances. The Lord is unchanged. It's not that he becomes angry and then he becomes pacified. No, he's always in transcendence. He's always in transcendence. But he does whatever is appropriate for the jiva. And like we already read, he's more inclined towards his devotee. So he might do something which might seem like completely for the rest of the world look like being what is the word, like giving trouble to the devotee, or like a source of disturbance or trouble or suffering, right? But whatever he does, while externally it might look like that, for other people, but it is always to benefit the devotee. So anything that we experience in our life, we should always understand it is the Lord's mercy. This is also another sign of full surrender to Krishna. When we fully surrender to Krishna, then we don't look at anything in our life as separate from our interest. Because Krishna will make sure that we come to him. And he knows what are our challenges, where we are stuck, what do we need to do, what he needs to do to bring us closer to him. And he does that in the life of a sincere, surrendered devotee. So this is very, very important that we be sincere and we surrender to Krishna. And when we are sincere and we surrender to Krishna, Krishna will take care of us. Krishna will do the needful. So actually, Maharaj, Bhakti Vikas Maharaj keeps saying that previously when Srila Prabhupada was manifest in this material world, this whole process of surrender was being very much emphasized. Everybody was being pushed to surrender. And today in today's situation, nobody talks about surrender. Surrender is a very unthought of topic. Nobody wants to hear all this. They say, just be easy, chill, do whatever you want. Bhakti is fun. These kind of topics, these kind of concepts, right? But then such people will never experience Krishna. They can never experience Krishna. Because Krishna can be experienced only by the sincere, serious, surrendered devotee. So sincere and seriousness leads one to surrender. So sincere, serious, surrendered devotee will experience Krishna's presence in their life. And when they experience Krishna's presence, then they want to do more. Then they know that, okay, Krishna is there, Krishna is reciprocating. So let us serve more. Let us dedicate ourselves more to Krishna. So this is very, very important. So please note these 3 words are the cornerstones for making progress in bhakti. Sincere, serious, surrendered. Okay. So with that, I'll stop here. If anybody has any questions, otherwise we can continue in the next Sunday session. Any questions? Our devotees reading Srimad Bhagavatam every day, Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. I'll stop the recording.